Welcome to the Modern Horror Stories podcast with Dave, Alex, and James. And today we're going to be talking about Late Night with the Devil. And Alex, I'm going to hand over to you for a bit of a synopsis.
Okay, so Jack Delroy is a television presenter in the late 1970s. He's got a TV program called Night Owls with Jack Delroy, and he's currently fighting the ratings war against Johnny Carson. And because he's losing pretty badly, he goes to more and more desperate measures in order to maintain his success. And I think that's more or less all I'm going to say about it for now. But what I liked about this film, atmospherically, it absolutely nails not only the sort of supernatural element of it, but also that 1970s-ness, that sense of, I don't think there's a word for it, 70s-ness is what I'm going to go for. It managed to really, really affectionately get the sense, the style, the attitudes of the 1970s just absolutely perfectly done. And I thought that was really, really impressive. Even though sort of I wasn't about in the 1970s, looking back on popular culture that I sort of admire from that era and about that era, it had such an incredible amount of love and respect for those horror films and other sort of elements of pop culture that have come before it. I mean, even the sort of the orange of the set reminded you of The Shining. It was really sort of impressively homage-y. Let's pretend that's a word, homage-y. James, I'm curious as to what you were thinking about it.
Yeah, I really loved this film. I watched it in the cinema and I was just glued to the screen throughout because I felt like exactly what you said. There was this. It was really beautifully done in the sense that you really felt I felt anyway. I was watching this TV show, the recording of this TV show from the 70s. Like I felt the way all the characters talked and moved and sounded, and the pace and the gravitas with which David Dastmalchian playing Jack Delroy delivered his lines. I really felt he was presenting this late night TV show, and I was watching it as if I was an audience member at home watching this extraordinary night of TV. And I really loved that feeling because we've probably all at some point had a moment where we've sat at home watching TV and thinking, "Oh my gosh, wow, something really big is happening here," and it really conjured up that feeling for me. And I loved how things built gradually. There was a peppering of something's going down here. I mean, there is a narration at the beginning which tells you stuff is going down here, but which normally I wouldn't like a narration at the beginning of a film. I think just do the film. But I actually quite liked that narration. The film itself, I really loved the pace of it. It was so nothing was rushed, nothing was missed either. Like there was the characters would felt like they were really reacting to what was happening. And one of the characters in particular, I mean, all of them were brilliant. All of the actors were brilliant. But there was one who I really adored. Every reaction, every pause, every facial tick, his attitude, everything. And it was a character called Gus, who's sort of the sidekick to the main host of the show. And I looked him up on IMDb, and he's called Guy O'Terry, and he's only got 2 IMDb credits, including this film. I'm assuming he must be a stage actor or voice actor as well as film, but clearly film he's not prolific in. But he did such a beautiful job, in my opinion, and all the cast did. I thought it was brilliant.
I think the great thing about going third in this review is I can just say I agree with you guys.
Cheating.
I 100% agree with nearly everything that you guys have said. And when we get to what we didn't quite like so much, I'll mention the thing I was slightly less keen on. But you really hit the nail on the head in terms of recreating that 70s feel. that sense of immediate danger from live TV is really captured, I think, in this movie. The performances are all superb. All the characters were really stock characters, but they were done to perfection. So from the host to the sidekick, Gus, a sidekick, a skeptic, and a medium, and then the girl who may or may not be possessed. All of these people were just superb performances, which isn't always the case in a horror film. But they really, really gave a lot of effort into that. And the other thing I want to just say is that when I started watching this, I was the whole format of watching a show from TV in the 70s was something that I bought into. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is this going to deliver as a horror film or not? How far are they going to go? Because this is supposedly broadcast on TV, and I think they got it absolutely spot on. I think it really did deliver. If you're looking for a good horror film, I think most people will be pretty happy with this one. And it was anything that maybe we didn't like so much.
It wasn't a perfect film by any means for me. I mean, there's still much more positive stuff I could say about it. I think I was thinking a lot about the relationship between the audience and the performer and a lot of that sort of thing. But yeah, also I think those are the elements where occasionally I was let down. I didn't quite see a need for the different filming styles behind offset and onset. I didn't quite see the point of it. I mean, I understood it stylistically. It made sense. I just didn't feel it was entirely necessary, really. So yeah, there was the occasional kind of stylistic sort of habit that the directors wanted to get across, but I didn't necessarily need it. There were things that I found, yeah, maybe a little unnecessary that were just there to be stylistic, sort of nice little Easter eggs for the audience, but not too much more than that. I don't feel it added too much to it. Yeah, James, anything from you?
Yeah, I something I really liked about the film was that it felt very much like it was in real time, like we were watching after the narration. It felt like we were watching this TV show playing out in real time, and there were moments that took you out of that. And I agree, the backstage bits it doesn't quite fit as well with that, and also the ending for me didn't feel like it fit in that framework. And I thought that was a shame because it plays so real. I would have gone for fewer like visual effects and keep it more practical and more intimate, I would say.
The ending also was the thing that I liked the least. I've watched it twice now. The second time I liked it a little more. I mean, it's not a horrifically bad ending, but tonally it's slightly different without giving anything away. And I think it will divide people. I think will be people who really like the ending, but I wasn't so sure about it. There were two other things, really minor things, that annoyed me about this film. It was one is the number of idents at the beginning of the movie. It's like 2 minutes of just little logos for different companies. Was it like that in the cinema?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I thought, oh no, this usually means it's a terrible film, but I was pleasantly surprised. But I've never seen that many company idents, and they each have a sound and an animation and a yeah, it was full on. But well done to all of these companies for making a brilliant film.
I don't think it even occurred to me. I'm shocked. Was it really that long?
I
Wow.
checked. It went on so long that I stopped the DVD and thought, "Oh, what's going on here?" Yeah. So, the only other thing, again, I'm being picky here because it was recreating a real show, and I do feel that maybe that did limit it a little in terms of pacing. I know, James, you said it was perfectly paced, and I think for realism, it was perfectly paced. But maybe on second viewing, I felt maybe there could have been a tiny bit more variety. I think perhaps they hoped to do that with the backstage thing, but it didn't quite work well enough. So it's time for the scores. Alex.
Okay. I really, really enjoyed this film, but I think not to the extent that you guys did. I thought it was a really good film, but just a 7.5 today, I think.
Hmm.
I think I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think it's the best horror I've seen this year.
And I'm going to split the difference. Give it an 8. It was a good film. It was a good film. As I said, the second time I watched it, I enjoyed the ending a little more. It might creep up to an 8.5. I think it's possible. So that's what we felt about Late Night with the Devil. If you want to share your views, put them in the comments below. And tomorrow, we're going to come back and tell you how we would make this movie even better. So hopefully see you tomorrow.